Today is 10th August 2023. It is a rainy day, but we continue. It is raining in my side. Here I am, but we continue. Today, what we have today is composition with 2/4 timing. If you are new in this topic, please go and watch my previous video where I did introduction to composition, so that you understand this very well. Okay, we start. In sun and in rain, we continue our work. Composition of songs with timing are done in a measure or measures. A measure is a whole note that is represented with a block in form of a square or a rectangle where SOLFA notations are written. Measures can be divided with signs and symbols. There are symbols used in dividing a measure, that is the whole note, into bits. There are colon, a dot, and a comma. Note: one colon, that is what is in the bracket, is found in the measures of 2/4 timing. Only one colon that you find in one block. You can use a dot to divide that one colon into two, and you call it half bits. A comma can be used to divide that half bit into what? Quarter bits. A colon creates 2 bits at each measure. In other words, it breaks a whole note into 2. When you see a whole note, a colon divides it into 2. We'll still come to that. Its conducting pattern is: if you raise your right hand up, move it down, you count 1. Move it up, you count 2. That is what that is illustrated here. Move it down, move your hand down, call it 1, count it 1. Move it up, count it 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So when you move it down, you sing what is there in the first gap that is created by that colon. The colon divides a bar into 2, 1 and 2. That is what I illustrated here. So when you move your hand down, you sing any SOLFA that you find here. Then when you raise it up, you sing any SOLFA notation that is written here, and it continues in a regular pattern: 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, as it goes like that. Okay, but that is not the point of focus. So whenever you put your hand down in any conducting pattern, it is known as the first count of the pattern. And whenever you put your hand up, it is the last count of that conducting pattern, whether 2/4 or 3/4. It is the general rule. Whenever you put it down, that is the first. Then whatever you conduct, put it up again, that is the last pattern. There are different methods one can use in composition of songs, especially when it comes to fixing various parts: alto part, tenor part, bass part, baritone part, etc. After getting the melody, that is soprano part, the leading part, mostly taken by soprano. The soprano usually take it. It can be female voice. Female voice is better, and male voice when necessary. I will be using simple chording, which is tried for better understanding. One must recall what chording is all about. I will still put the page number. For example, do, and mi, and so. They are the 3 are called do chord. Whether it is interchanged, like inversions, you call it inversion. Now here, so is here, but now the so is now taken from lower octave, and this one is being left out. So whether it is interchanged or placed another place, once it's 3 of them, just know that it's do chord, and it happens here, it happens also here. So So the three notes that makes a re chord is la, fa, re. So it can be fa, la, and re. It can be la, fa, re. So three of them can go. Just know the pitch. This is mi chord, mi soti. This is fa chord, fa, la, do. So, and it goes. We have studied this before, so I'm not repeating it again. So let us form a melody part, that is the treble or soprano part, and let her put other parts. This composition below, which is this, will be only one beat, as in no half beat, no timing. We will do small. So one beat timing of 2/4. Some call it 2/4, some call it 2/4. So whether 2/4 or 2/4, they are still the same thing. Remember, we have timing with half beats and quarter beats in same 2/4 timing or 2/4 timing. So this is 1 and this is 2. So there must be a colon, 1 colon in each bar. That is what I'm explaining. 1 colon, 1 colon, 1 colon, 1 colon, 1 colon. So you can choose any key. Remember how to make a hum and start your music. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, re, mi. This is the sound. Mi. So you start forming your tempo. That is another thing. Form your tempo. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And it is only when you hit that you sing what is there. Okay, let's start. Mi, re, mi, fa, sol, mi, do. There is nothing here, but you hit it, but you do not sing it. That is where at the end. This is a silent zone because it is not draw. They didn't say draw it. This is a sign of draw. 1 beat draw. We have half beat and other things. But let's go again. Mi, re, mi, fa, sol, mi, do. So there is nothing here. So we have, just write any notation that you can sing, and whatever voice or word I put under them, I will start using it, making it as my song. Okay. After fixing the SOLFA notation of your melody, then you think of how to fix the words according to the syllables of the word and SOLFA notation. We have treated syllables before, but let me repeat it. A syllable is a unit of human speech that is interpreted by the listener as a single sound. Although syllables usually consist of 1 or more vowel sounds, either alone or combined with the sound of 1 or more consonants. So we have treated it before. Okay. Learn more about syllables in composition. I will still put the page. Okay, this is what I sang before. Mi, re, mi, fa, sol, mi, do. Then the other one is silent beat. So what I wrote here is just a simple thing. I love you, Lord, I love you. But I should draw it to this point, these 2 beats that is here. I love you, Lord, I love you. So there is nothing to sing here. So I have, what I interpreted here is the sounds I found here. Mi, re, mi, fa, sol, mi, do. It can be fast, it can be slow. Mi, re, mi, fa, sol, mi, do. Mi, re, mi, fa, sol, mi, do. Mi, re, mi, fa, sol, mi, do. The tempo is on you to decide, depending on where to sing the song. It's for you to decide where to, how to move about it. Okay. Then another thing is When you have formed the melody, which is soprano or treble part, the next thing is how to locate the other parts like alto, tenor, bass, etc. How to compose alto part in simple composition. There are alternatives, but this is simple composition. We will count one before counting two now. Okay. In simple composition, bring a rough paper or a jotter. Write out the scale of first lower octave, main octave, and first upper octave. That is what I illustrated here. This is the main octave. In main octave, there is no first upper or first lower or second. The SOLFA notation is just straight. But here there is something like 1. It is 1 in essence. Sometimes you use comma in representing it, like here. So this is main octave, first lower octave, and first upper octave. We have treated about octave before, so that is the thing. Okay, let's start immediately. Steps. Number 1. Normally, alto part is lower. It is not high in range. In modern way of composing choral songs, anyway, that is, it is at the back of soprano or the leading voice. Any note that soprano takes, alto part will run down scale or descend to get their notes in accord or harmony of chording, even though we have alternatives. Here I will be using first main octave and first lower octave for my illustration. This is the first lower octave and this is the main octave. Whenever soprano or melody part is having do from main octave, this is the do from main octave. From main octave as their note, alto part will move back, skipping T and have La or So in some cases from lower octave. Sometimes they will move down to Mi, but they will follow the rules of chording so that it will harmonize well. So the rules of chording: do, la, mi, do. So it moves down like that. So that sometimes they can take Mi or So or La. But if the song is beginning, at the beginning, don't use La as alto, use So, especially at the beginning and the end, unless you want the song to end as a minor song, as a minor tune. That is the thing. We'll get to that place. Okay. When soprano have Re as in their song, main octave, that is in main octave. Alto, for alto part, you skip Do, which is this, and write T from first lower octave. So whenever soprano is singing Re, you move down, skip a note down. That is how to form it and get T. Okay. If the soprano is singing Mi from main octave, this is the Mi. What you do is skip Re, and this is the simple, I say this is the simple way of doing it. So whenever soprano is singing So, you skip Fa and sing Mi. So whenever soprano is singing Fa, you skip this one and write Re for alto part, second part. Remember I said it is for a beginner or for, you see it, whether you are an international composer, you still follow it, but we have alternative. What I mean by alternative now, this is Fa and I will pick Re, but maybe Re will not go well with the word in the syllable, it will not go well. I can use T or can use another alternative notes. That is what I mean by alternatives. So whenever soprano is singing La, you skip this one and use this one for alto, which is Fa. Whenever soprano is singing T, you just be skipping at the back of it. That is how to fix the alto. It is very simple, you can do it. So note, this method can be done in any octave. You can do it in any octave. There are alternatives to some of them, like a song where soprano is starting with do. It is better to go down to sol instead of la for alto, unless you want the song to start with a minor chord. This is also applicable at the end of the song. Tenor parts do observe this also, depending what the composer wants. Okay, but in different ways. Always identify where the notes are coming from: main octave, first lower, and okay. This is the song I sang before. Mi re mi fa sol mi do. Hey, but you draw it do. Okay. I love you, Lord, I love you. Then what I did here is just simple. Soprano is singing so. I move down, they are singing, soprano is singing mi. I move down to this and write do for alto, second part. That's what I did here. They are singing mi. Then I move down to alto. To back it up, I use do. Remember I say you skip the next one, which is mi, re, do. Remember what I said about it. Okay. Then if soprano is singing re, I skipped do to put C for alto. That is simple way of composing. Like, look at it here. Soprano is singing re. I'll move down and put T for these people, for the alto part, second part. So when soprano is singing mi again, I'll put do. But in a way, mi and la and do, mi, do, la is a minor chord. I can alternate it, leave this do and put la here. Do, ti, la, mi, re, mi, do, ti, la. They can harmonize each other, the mi and la, because la, mi, la, do is a chord, is a sixth chord. Okay. So, but this is simple way of composing. That is what I'm teaching. So next we have fa. They are singing fa. Then I will skip mi and put re for alto. That is what I did here. The soprano is singing so, the leading voice, and I skip the next one and put mi. That is what I did. They are singing so, I skip this one to put this. If you start doing like this, or get any song at all, or songs, check this. You see that there are some places they are applying this simple way. Then soprano is singing mi, I use do. They are singing do, because at the end I don't want it to end as a minor, so that is why I used this so. That is what I'm illustrating here. So at the end of the song, if soprano is the leading part is singing do, then I will not go down as I used to do. I will not just use la, I will use so. Soprano and tenor used, alto and the tenor used to observe this kind of thing, especially at the end or at the beginning. But in the middle of the song, they will sing this la, they will sing this la at the middle. So this is how to compose this thing. So if you want to put tenor, but we are dealing with alto today, so I don't want this video to be long, so I will stop at alto part. Thank you. Next time I'll add tenor part, how to put alto part. But let me use chalk, or let me use my marker to do summary of this. So let me make a small conclusion. So I can decide to remember our do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, and the do. This is the main octave. So what I'm saying is, if I decide to put so, so, mi, so, do. This is what I have chosen for myself, that this is the melody I want to compose. So any word I put under it will still, each syllable will have so, or if I want to add slur or phrase mark or anything, so that two notes we have like it is you, Lord. So if I want to compose this, it is you, Lord. It can be for me. What shows me the sound is the SOLFA notation. When composing this kind of a thing, I can change some of the notes, some of the SOLFA notation, because it doesn't bring out it is you, Lord. People will not understand what I'm saying when I'm singing so, mi, so, do. If I'm singing so, mi, so, do, then I will use the same tone and sing the it is you, Lord. It is you, Lord. Anything I add under it as a word or words. So each syllable, if you watch here, it is one. That is why it is one. And is one. That is what I mean by syllable. But I can still decide to put or remove this and put another one. Now I have Jesus here, and the Jesus is two Jesus in breakage in the word. So I'll put it something like this. Then this word Jesus now is now having two syllables. It's having two syllables. So I must have two syllables to represent Jesus. That's what I mean by that. So each syllable, each breakage, we have a note. Another breakage, we have a note. But one breakage, which is G, can have up to 3 or 4 in your melody part, up to 4 notes. I can decide to write as an example anyway. And put something like this, and this is the J, mi, so, mi, re, G. Do you understand? This thing now shows me that this notes we carry all these notes, but that is what I'm teaching anyway. But I just want to tell you that what I mean by one note carry. But if I want syllables to have many SOLFA notations, this is how to do it. Then I'll put something like a slur to show that this a word. Now these syllables is what we use in singing this syllable. Okay, let's go back to what we are doing. I'm just doing summary of this alto, putting alto part. So they are singing so, the beginning of is so. So what I'll move down and pick me. That is the simple way of doing it. I'll put me. If you watch millions of songs, they used to follow this method. That doesn't mean I cannot go by do. I can go by do because they are what? They are the same part. They are in the same triad by chording. So because do, mi, so is a chord, so I can decide to leave this one and put do. So but we are starting for this, so please, this is me for me. Then I'll put my dot. Remember, we are still doing 2/2. Then this one now, they are singing me, I'll move down, put do. Then here they are singing so, I'll put me, and they are singing do, I'll put here. That is where it comes now. They are singing do, we have T, La, and so. T, La, so. I will not use La because I don't want it to end as a minor chord, as the cadence to be imperfect. You have perfect cadence at the ending of how to play the ending of a song, or how the ending of the song is. That is cadence. You will study later. Okay, I will not use this La because I don't want it to end as a minor chord. I will use so. That's what I'm explaining. It only happens at the beginning or at the end. But inside a song, like this one, if this is do and this is, I can put La. The normal thing is La and another solfa. That is what I'm explaining. So here I will put so instead of using La. I will use so, because if you go down, it's supposed to be do, ti, La. I will move that and use La, but I will not use it. I will use so because that is the end, and I want it to end mi, do, mi, so. That is not, that is down so, do, ti, La, so, mi, do, mi, so, then so, mi, so, do, mi, do, mi, so. So if you don't know how to get the pitch well, run down scale or up, do, re, mi, fa, so. That is the so. Do, re, mi, fa, so, so. If it is this one, do, re, mi, mi. So you get it like that. So, mi, so, do. To get this one, do, re, mi, do, mi, so. If two parts sings this one now, they will harmonize immediately. Here I can still alternate it because we have a chord called sixth chord, which is La, Do, Mi. This La, Do, Mi now, I can here that is Do, I can decide to put La, Mi, La, Mi, So. When they, if you sing it together, it will still harmonize. Here there is So, I can decide to, because So, Mi, Do, I can decide to put Do here. Do, La, Mi, So. That is me how to do it alternative, but I will still bring out a time and do the alternatives very well. But here is just simple way of adding your alto part, second part. Thank you and God bless you. Please, you can be supportive to what I'm doing so that we have more better equipments for this. Can help us to publish my book also, and anything you have can give.